Hi, I'm Dino Dalle Carbonare from speedhunters.com.
Hey everyone, I am Larry Chen. I'm a car culture and automotive photographer.
And we are here at the 2023 Tokyo Auto Salon, Yokohama Tire booth. So let's go take a look at all the cars that Yokohama Tire have prepared for this year.
I can't wait.
Okay, so the reason we're here at Yokohama Tire is to kind of showcase the vehicles that have been chosen for this year. Starting off with this very special Land Cruiser LC300. This is actually Manabu Arido's own car, which he's kind of developed with his own little style. It wears his body kit, his aero lip spoiler and over fender kit, and as well as forged 22-inch rims, which are shot in Yokohama Advanced Sport V107. These are the new tires replacing the older generation. They have improved in every way and form. And I think, you know, Larry, you have a Land Cruiser yourself in the US, so you know everything about these cars, and you're probably in love with this.
This is actually something we don't get in the US, and on top of that, this is the luxury street version.
Exactly. So here in Japan, this vehicle comes in two guises. The ZX, which is this, a kind of street-oriented vehicle, and then the GR Sport, which is basically for off-roading. And total different bumper redesign, and yeah.
That's the one I want. I want the GR.
Same here.
Yeah.
But the point of, you know, running street tires on these huge SUVs is to prove that, you know, the development that has gone into these tires, which are, you know, developed in Germany with manufacturers like BMW and AMG, you know, it proves what can be achieved through really good R&D and the continuous pursuit of excellence when it comes to grip and overall performance. I know you run Yokohama tires on your cars in the US.
Every single one of my cars runs Yokohama tires, and they're all for a specific purpose. You know, so for my off-road vehicles, I run the Geolander, MTs or ATs, depending on what we use them for. And of course, on my drift car, I run the Apex, you know, series, as well as for my cars that I actually take to the track, I love running the AO52s.
Shall we take a quick look around?
Yeah, let's
see what this kit is all about. So I think the main idea with the whole purpose of this kit is to kind of shrink the vehicle. I mean, it's a massive thing, especially here in Japan. So what Orita wanted to do is create these kind of like transitions from dark to the body color, starting with the lip spoiler, going into these kind of over fenders with the black lines to kind of highlight the separation. And that's kind of brought up even here on the A-pillar to kind of help the body shrink a little bit. And if you come around to the back, that gets carried over into like a lower section, diffuser section for the rear bumper. And basically it's Arido's daily driver, and you know, he's such a legend, and it's great to see that he kind of, you know, brings this kind of vehicle to the table, finalizing it with his products and running these sort of new tires from Yokohama.
Yeah, I feel like if you drive this in Japan, you've made it. This
Absolutely.
thing is amazing. I love it.
And there's a very long waiting list for these kind of vehicles, so I think we're into 2-3 years. So to see this on the road is still very special in Japan. Right, and I think it's probably better if we ask the owner himself. So it's over to Mr. Arido to find out more about this car.
このランクル300はですね、今回、マックスオリドのオリジナルのエアロパーツを製作しました。フロントリップスポイラーとリアの、アンダースポイラーと、あと4枚のフェンダーですね。このフェンダー少しでタイヤとフェンダーのクリアランスが狭く見えるようにちょっと工夫をしております。非常に気に入ったデザインに仕上がったかなと思っております。今回このね、重量級のランクル300にアドバンスポーツとの組み合わせ、最初はねちょっとどんな乗り味になるのかな。でサイズも、今回ホイールを作って22インチのホイールなんで、かなり扁平の薄いタイヤになるわけですけども、ノーマルの大きいねタイヤに比べて空気ボリュームは少なくなるんですが、アドバンスポーツを履いて街中を走ったところ、非常にその不安感もなく、ランクルとこういう大きい車とのアドバンスポーツのマッチングも非常によく、タイヤの剛性がありながら特に路面を捉えるしなやかさ、非常に乗り味も良くなって、心配は全くなかったですね。とても非常に軽快な乗り味になりました。 ノーマルのタイヤホイールがすごく重くて、それだけしっかりしてるんですけども、今回のタイヤとホイールに変えたおかげによって、非常に軽さも出てね、タイヤホイールのそれによってさらに、ね、乗り味が、マイルドになったっていうかね、非常にね軽快な車になりましたね。これにはちょっと僕も驚きました。
So the next car at the Yokohama Tire booth that we're looking at is this GR Corolla Morizo Special Edition. And the cool thing for me, because I'm in Japan, is that I never really get to see these kind of tires. These are the Apex V601s. And this is a US only tire for the time being. And I'm sure you've kind of tried this in the US on press cars and stuff. And tell us about what you think about this performance tire.
This is a great performance tire. We actually ran this on our 2018 SEMA car. We built a supercharged Mustang that made 750 horsepower. And we needed some sticky rubber to get all that power to the ground. That's why we ran the Apex V601s. I actually also still run these on my 350Z drift car today.
It's really cool to see for me, especially for the tread pattern, and I love these little details where they put the Advan logo on the actual rubber itself. One other thing that this car has is basically the Yokohama wheels as well, the RG4s from Yokohama Wheels. And it's really cool to see that such a brand new car is already kind of slightly tuned and on display here at Yokohama Tire.
Yeah, that's the thing, is it's hard enough to get this in the US. It's even harder to get it in Japan. This is a very limited edition and very special car. So to see one that's modified really is pretty interesting.
That's right. So this is a limited edition car. And Larry, I know you know everything about this car because you kind of did the launch for it in the US. So.
Well, this is something that I'm really excited about, but I don't really understand why this is a thing because the GR Yaris is here. But with that said, it makes sense because this is a very track-focused car. It is 4 doors, but it doesn't even come with rear seats.
Exactly,
it's so weird.
It has a rear seat delete. So this is the performance version of a very cool performance car.
A couple other things that are special about the Morizo edition. It has a shorter set of gears, but it also has more power. It has a carbon roof and it has this really, really cool vented hood. Other than that, they've done a couple things that really improve on this vehicle, including the wheel and tire setup.
Yeah, so basically the RZ base level model of this car comes as OE fitment with these tires, the Apex V601s. But what Yokohama did this time around is basically take the Morizo version and fit this same tire package together with some Advan Racing RG4s. And if you see inside, there's also a nice endless brake kit ready to hit the track.
Yeah, I think this is the one for us to drive out of the show,
Absolutely.
right? Okay,
that's
cool.
the car I would pick.
Got it.
Okay, so to find out more about the V601, let's talk to a professional driver and find out more about his driving impressions. So it's over to Mr. Taniguchi.
基本的にはめちゃくちゃ乗りやすいというかコントロールがしやすくてブレーキングした時の、タイヤの潰れ感、そしてダを入れていった時のタイヤの倒れこびとかね、そういうのが非常にバランスがいいから、タイヤのゴム自体はそんなにハイグリップなゴムを使ってるわけじゃないんだけど、すごくねグリップがあるように感じたりで、とにかくドライビングするところに楽しさがすごくある、そんなタイヤの印象を受けました。そうですね、やはりタイヤホイールを純正から交換する人、純正ホイールとかじゃなくてね、やっぱりサーキットとかそういうのをバリバリ走りたい方はやっぱりアドバンネオバとか A052 とかそういう超ハイグリップを履いていただいて走りを楽しんでもらったらいいと。そうじゃなくて基本は街乗りなんだけどかっこよく車をこう見せたい、そういう方はですねこの V601 が非常に合ってると思います。
Okay, so we've moved to the corner of the booth now where this very special car is on display. This is beyond hard to see now because there's only 5 coming to Japan. This is number 2. So this is the first time I see a Cayman, very long name, GT4 RS Club Sport. And the point of having this car here this year is basically show the people that the Neova fitment has increased. It's basically kind of expanded up until big sizes like 21 inches, so it fits perfectly for Porsches. And you know all about these cars because you are the official photographer for the series in the US?
Yeah, so Yokohama Tire has been a big part of the Pikes Peak International Hill Climb for many years now. And it really is an honor for me to be able to capture the previous generation GT4s, actually attack the mountain with a spec car and spec tire. So it really is so cool to be able to be on the ground to kind of watch that program develop over time.
Yeah, and the amazing thing is Niova has a very big history in Japan. Last year at the Tokyo Auto Salon, Yokohama launched the AD09, which is a new version of a continuing brand, Niova, that has been running for so many years. The previous generation was on the market for 12 years, and the improvement and continuous research and development that goes into tires have created an even more high-performance tire, which is perfect for daily use, but also for the occasional track day.
Yeah, I'm jealous. I'm actually seeing these tires for the first time here in Japan. Right. I cannot wait to fit them on my cars.
Awesome. You know, one of my favorite things about speed hunting or hunting car culture in general in Japan for so many years has always been seeing Japanese wheels fitted to European cars. For me, it creates such an impressive kind of like, you know, setup. And you know, the Japanese tuners here always do it so well. And this is a perfect example of how well a 5-piece Yokohama GT fits a car like the Cayman, even though it's a race car.
It actually is interesting the way it sits right now. It matches the raw carbon look so well.
Absolutely,
and
yeah.
This is pretty special carbon, huh?
That's right. This is a new type of, I guess, composite fiber that Porsche is developing, and it's actually made out of recycled materials.
Eco-friendly.
Indeed, eco-friendly racing. So I think as two people that have covered motorsport for so many years in its various kind of guises, I think it's always cool to see kind of entry-level rally cars or race cars like this Toyota Arise we have here. You must be pretty shocked to see something quite small turned into a rally car.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say that it's small. It's just interesting because we don't even get anything like this in the US. This is something I would drive all the time in this configuration as a rally car.
Yeah, so this is actually driven by a very famous rally driver, Mr. Hanawa, here in Japan. And it runs the Geolander tires, which are quite special because from this new generation here, the XAT, you're able to actually flip the tire on the rim and choose two different patterns on the outside wall.
Yeah, I really like the XAT because it fills a gap between the MT and the AT tire. At one point, it was like, do you want all-out off-road performance or just on-road performance? With this, you can actually have both.
It's basically the Niova of the off-road world.
There you go. So depending on how you want it to look, you can actually flip it, right? So you can have the white lettering or a more aggressive side tread pattern, or you can have just a more subtle look on the build.
Exactly, so it's basically done because, you know, we're looking at a rally car, so it's all kind of like performance oriented, but if we look at this Geolander here, which is another Japan-only kind of van, it's basically for street use, so you're kind of looking for the design element there when it comes to these builds, and you can kind of choose what you prefer to go along with your vehicle. And this is a really good example of what's happening in Japan right now, where especially after COVID, we've had a bit of a camping boom happening, so a lot of people building pretty much any car into an off-road spec, adding roof racks or kind of lifting the cars and going for off-road tires. So I'm kind of keen to hear what you think of these cool little vans here in Japan.
Well, this is really cool. Actually, the surprise is that you and I are going to spend the night here tonight in the booth in this thing.
Absolutely,
yeah.
I'm taking the back though.
This is another instance where I'm really sad that we don't get this kind of vehicle in the US. It's just so good looking. I love the two-tone, and of course, you know, fitted with the Geolander XAT tires. I feel like this is like pretty capable for light off-roading, and I think that's kind of the boom, right? Overlanding, light off-roading.
It's pretty much just to get you into a very kind of like, you know, easygoing situation, so you don't have to deal with like, you know, punctures and stuff like that. But yeah, like you're saying, these kind of vehicles in Japan are super popular, of every shape and size. This here, the Town Ace, is basically kind of a mid-level, mid-sized version of vans. You know, we have the I-Ace, we have the Caravans, and people can kind of vary their builds according to the size and requirements that they have.
I love the seats. Look at that.
Yeah, I mean,
It's just
giving,
such a
giving your own
throwback.
twist to a build is really cool, and then, you know, seat fabrics, always a great way to do it. We're in front now of what is definitely the funnest car here at the Yokohama Tire booth for 2023. This is a one-to-one Tamiya mini four-wheel drive. I mean, this is the coolest build I've seen so far. It's basically taking what kids do with, you know, I guess an introduction to RC cars before RC cars, and turn into like full scale.
Yeah, this is really something that brings me back to my childhood. I grew up on Tamiya RC cars as well as the mini four-wheel drive cars. We actually have a lot of these tracks in the US, but my question is, what kind of screwdriver do you need to actually take the wheels, the rollers off of this?
I think it comes when you get the car.
Yeah, okay, so you just
You
kind
just
of like
turn
hug
around.
it and twist.
Exactly.
I like that.
And then hold on for dear life. And you can actually go around the back of the booth and buy a car.
Yeah, actually the model is sitting right there. That is
It's
so
right
cool.
here. So, you know, going around looking at this thing, if you notice, it wears the Advanced Sports V107s. And the way we're positioned with light, you can actually really see how they've improved the contrast between the lettering and the regular rubber of the sidewall, so you know, it actually stands out more. That's one improvement that was introduced with this generation of Advanced Sport.
This is a pretty cool setup though. 295 squared, big contact patch. This thing's ready for Pikes Peak, dude.
Yeah, you can imagine the grip with this thing. Just want to turn the
This is-
screwdriver. It's actually functional.
Yeah.
So I guess next year we'll see a kind of, you know, prototype track being built.
Well, actually, what you could do is take this to the local oval track here and then just not even turn the wheel and just go straight.
Just
You
rail
know,
it around the wall.
just go right along the wall. You know what? Forget about taking this to the track. Just go on the highway here, the C1. You don't even need a turn, dude.
Yeah, you just rail it
Yeah.
around the walls.
Check out the shocks. They're pretty cool. It's kind of like an upside down setup.
Yeah, really cool layout. And of course, this old pipe frame, single seater, center of driving position. This is everything that a person would need to you know, have a proper race car.
And you can't forget about the best part about this car. It's the traditional Advan livery. I absolutely love that.
Yeah, absolutely legendary colors. Okay, so we've seen all the cars on display at this year's Yokohama Tire booth. I hope you've enjoyed the little tour that me and Larry kind of brought to you. Do you have any final thoughts for Tokyo Auto Salon this year?
Well, I'm excited to check out the rest of the show, but I want to know what car you're going to drive from this booth.
I think I'll take the Porsche.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I guess I'll just be stuck in the Land Cruiser then.
Well, you enjoy that then.